Okay guys, welcome to part 3 of the mantle surround build here. Today we're going to start doing the mantle itself. We're going to do the pilasters, the mantle shelf, and all the trim in between. I've ripped down some pieces of plywood to about 4 inches, and these are going to be the side pilasters. I'm just going to cross cut them. I'll make one side straight, and then I'll cross cut the other side to length. Now I'm cutting some pieces of a 2x4. These are going to be the nailer blocks. They're going to be for behind the pilasters. That's going to help me attach it to the wall. Now I'm going to take these filler strips that I have on the side and I'm going to put the spacer blocks in between. Those nailer blocks there are going to give me the exact depth that I need, and what I'm going to do is apply some wood glue and I'm going to tack on the face of the pilaster with some 18 gauge brads, and that's going to give me a half a box nail to the wall to give me that nice column effect for the pilaster.
Okay, so just to give you an idea of what's going on so far, you saw me nail together these boxes, so to speak. These are going to be the pilasters, and they're going to go on the lines that I marked out so that the tile guy can come in, or a granite guy can come in and fill this in with the granite afterwards. He wanted me to finish first so he could do his thing. So I'm going to level everything off. I'm going to put some nailer boards behind these first, nail those to the wall, and then I'm going to attach those to the nailers.
Now that the nailer blocks are in, I'm just going to use some regular wood glue and I'm going to attach the pilasters to it, and I'm going to use 18 gauge brad nails to cover all the holes easier when the painter comes in. Now I'm attaching the other pilaster, but I moved the side units out of the way. I haven't attached those to the wall yet because I want to make sure I keep this level so that when I put the mantle shelf on top of these pilasters, everything is completely straight. I'm going to rip down some pieces for the plinth blocks, the bottom and the tops of the pilasters. Now for these pieces here, I set my blade to 45 degrees. I'm going to cut them on an angle and join them at a miter in the corners. Plinth blocks at the top of the pilasters, they're a little bit shorter, so I'm able to cut those angles at the miter saw.
So now I'm going to attach my freeze board. This is 10 inches wide. I already did a dry fit. What we're going to do is attach it with some construction adhesive, and I'm just going to tack it in with some 16 gauge finish nails just to hold it in place until I can screw it into the studs. Nice snug fit. Make everything leveled off. Now I'll finish it off with some screws. Now all these screws are going to be hidden by the crown molding later on after the shelf's added. Okay guys, now we're getting somewhere. It's starting to look like a mantle surround. So I got these in place there. The side units, the bookcase and the cabinets are not attached right now. They're just sitting there as a dry fit, just so I know exactly where I was going to be. Now that I have the mantle surround, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it a night. It's getting late. Tomorrow in my shop, I'm going to mill up the poplar shelf that I'm going to make here for the mantle shelf itself. It's going to be 7/8 thick, maybe a little bit thicker. They want it a little bit heavy, so I'm going to mill that a little heavy. I have a piece of 5/4, so I can keep it heavy. And that's it. And I'll attach that maybe Friday night or Saturday morning.
I'm just going to mill up some cove molding and I'll trim it out on a table saw, and this is going to be a lot of the dressing here. I'm going to stack some molding for this. As I'm back on the site here, I cut the mantle to size, I milled it up in my shop. Now I'm going to use some construction grade adhesive and I'm going to attach it with some screws. And I'm going to rip some pieces down for the upper frame for where the TV is going to sit. Now I'm going to attach the header, and you'll notice on the right side here I have a shim behind the frame, and that's because the wall is very uneven, so I shimmed it up to make everything level, and we'll take care of that later on by scribing and molding underneath. This is my buddy Giovanni. He's doing all the sheetrock and the mudding taping in this whole house, and I just asked him if he can give me a quick hand so I can level off this crown molding instead of having to put a nail to support it on the other end. I hear I'm nailing on the returns to close up the crown molding. Now we can finally start to dress up this mantle with all the moldings and trim. I'm going to add some crown underneath the shelf and I'll wrap that around the pilasters. Now I'm adding some base cap around the bottom of the upper pilaster plinth blocks. Not only is this going to hide the plywood edges, but it's also going to dress up the whole mantle. Now I have to permanently attach these side units to the wall, so you're going to see me shim up the bottoms here so that everything is level, and then later on the base molding will cover all this up. Now the video is getting kind of long, so I'm only going to document some of the miter cuts that I make, but I will document all the installation of the moldings. This is the first piece of the stacked molding that I made. This is an OG cut with the router, and I'm going to stack a cove molding on top of that to give it a really nice effect. I'm going to start to tack on now the cove moldings that I made, and you can see once I nail this off, you can see how it's going to really dress up that bottom molding and really give it that crown effect. This is the point here where you really see how molding can change the effect of a project, really make it come to life. I made a little jig here for my miter saw. This is a zero clearance fence, and what this does is allows me to bring the pencil lines right up to the mark where the saw blade is going to cut and make an exact cut every time and not have to keep coming back and forth to trim up the moldings.
I made some moldings in my shop and brought them here. A nice little OG style molding. This is going to be wrapped around here behind the top of the plywood. And we're going to line the corners, we're going to wrap that around, we're going to hit here. And then I'm going to work on the base. I got some base shoe molding for the bottom, that's going to go around there. You can see they got a little excited and they installed their TV. So, you know what? It's not in my way, I don't mind, and it looks really good. So, once he comes in with the granite, then I can just continue the base molding and wrap it around here and let it die right into the granite, and then we're done with the whole job. All right, guys, let's move on and cut this up.
Now I made a roundover molding to install for underneath the header here, but I have to close up the gap because the wool is uneven, if you remember where I shimmed it. So I'm going to use a set of scribes here. I'm going to mark a line, and then I'm going to use a jigsaw to cut that out to the shape I need so that it's an even reveal all the way around. Alright, so now I'm installing the final moldings here on the unit. It's all done. I'm just buttoning everything up, so just make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video where I'm going to show you full shots of the whole project. Okay guys, this was a great project. Had a lot of fun doing it. They're going to have a painter come in on Monday. They're going to paint it all white to match their kitchen. Then during the week sometime they're going to have the guy come and install the granite. I'll try to get you some updated pictures, so stay tuned for that. Alright guys, thanks for joining me again. Make sure you subscribe and I'll see you next time.